لا suspected not usual. But when you have this kind of scenario.
Farming initiatives to a community in Nasarawa State, complementing efforts of the federal government. Arise correspondent Abel Ejikeme reports on how these initiatives are changing the lives of rural dwellers in the state.
It was once an obscure community, highly impoverished and notorious for its kidnappings, executed by its young jobless people. Today, the story is different in Gate community here in Nigeria's Nasarawa State. Come along as we explore how the Nigerian Farmers Group, a cooperative farming society, is raising the living standard of people in this community.
A group of 6 people had reached an agreement with the community to secure part of their land to kickstart a cooperative farming model. That number has since increased, with the cooperative now having 3,000 registered members. Ibrahim Labaran is the head of the Gate community. He explains how the coming of the group has lightened the district, providing jobs for more than 300 locals.
It's not only Gate people benefited from this farm. Many people from Gate, from around those areas, Babusabangida, Garauku, Ikefi, many people benefited from this farm. Before, Gate people, even the local government chairman cannot, no access road to come to Gate. But now, Gate, there is a road. This farm work on the road. Even primary school, there is no primary school. Our boys there for bush here. But now we have a primary school, and I think the governor have visited this Gate. And many, even ministers visited this Gate, and by president visit this Gate. So we have benefited a lot. Even these are NEPA. Now the village have light. So we have many things. So we have benefited from the coming of this farm to this village.
Jobs are not the only opportunity offered to locals. The farm settlement serves as home to some. John Anzako is the chief carpenter of the farm. He built all the structures in the settlement and has also built his home.
I entered here 2017, working with them and achieved many things from this NFGCS, because it's the place that I'm working and it's the place that I'm eating, it's the place that I'm feeding my children and also paying their school fees.
Next is the rice farm. With the ongoing rice revolution in the country, more than 450 hectares is being cultivated. It's believed that never in the history of the country has Nigeria witnessed an aggressive approach to rice production, with a commitment to be self-sufficient in rice production.
This is nature at its best. A rice processing machinery locally fabricated by Nigerian experts with assistance from locals here in Gate community. Nigerian-made rice are processed here.
Getting here, we were asked to take off our shoes to avoid specks of dirt.
This is the pre-cleaner to clean up the rice, and we are having the desoner to desown the rice, and the dehusker to take out the chaff of the rice.
Occupying a 3,000 hectares of arable land, this farm settlement can best be described as a rural grazing area. Farmers have their crops and birds flourishing, while herders have fresh grass and water for their cattle. There are more than 6,000 cows in the open and indoor ranches, and for the herders, it's safer keeping their cattle in ranches.
I think it's better keeping them in the ranch than taking them outside. In the first place, because they have everything they want here. They have the best treatments. There's a dam around where they drink their water from. There's food around the farm. Because of that, there's no point taking them around, because we have been educated on how we can feed our cows without taking them far away from the farm. Besides, there's threats out there from rustlers and other threats.
How was this feat achieved? Coordinator of the cooperative explains the agreement reached with Fulani herders in the community.
I will sat down with the Zaki, sat down with the emirs and say, look, we are willing to build a farm settlement center that will take care of the interest of everybody. But everybody must be willing to give something to be able to access anything. And we sat down with the Fulani, the Ardos, the head of the Fulani communities, the Zaki and everybody. And then they agreed that these are going to be the modus operandi. If your cow encroach on anybody's farm, we'll assess the damage and you pay. That's one. Two, if there's any form of attack around 2-3 kilometers from the place, from the farm, center of the farm, up to 5 kilometers, we are going to figure out which location did the attack take place. And if it is known that any Fulani community is involved, the community agree that they're going to banish, are going to chase them out of the place.
A former militant, Tedeka says he is transforming the Fulani industry into an economic opportunity for the people rather than a problem for the state. He proffers solutions to the incessant farmers-herders clashes and seeming problems faced by local farmers.
You know that the lakeside is drying up. So if you like pray on top of this matter, you know they work. Because you know that every year, animals and men are going to be migrating what? Down south, where the vegetation is better. There is nothing you can do about it. So what do? The north central becomes a corridor. From Kwara to Benue and Enugu on the east, Kwara in the west to Benue, and then you set up government-controlled ranches along that bed. So as cows are migrating from the north, what are you doing? You warehouse them in most of these government-controlled ranches. Now, when you warehouse them here, you stop them from going down south, and then you can cultivate.
There are plans by the cooperative to replicate this farm settlement in other parts of the country. If this is done, it's believed that insecurity occasioned by clashes between herders and farmers in the country will be cut down to the barest minimum. Abel Ejikeme, Arise News.
Somewhere in Africa, distant from civilization, in a small village of Gate, Nasarawa State, distant from basic amenities, no clean water, bad road, and no educational facilities. But a young Nigerian, passionate about agriculture, found himself in the middle of nowhere. Made something out of nothing. And now, the people of Gate can boast of classrooms for their children, good road, and clean water. Never underestimate the days of little beginning. Just like every great story, it all starts little. And today, Abba Token has come to reveal the future and the impact of agriculture from an undeveloped community to a transformed estate and resorts. Go, share the word.
Reports are very, very incisive and very, very educative. But let's bring in Retsin Tedeke. He's the coordinator of the Nigerian Farmers Group and Cooperative Society. Well, he joins us now from Nasarawa State. Retsin, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program. And just watching you there in that particular story that Abel did, you know, you've come up with a great plan, some would say, especially to actually deal with the farmer-herders clashes. Although you've done that in Nasarawa State, are you coming up with plans to probably submit this proposal to the government to see it replicated even faster beyond what you can do in your cooperative, so that way we see an end to the killings of the farmers and even the rustling of the cattle of the herdsmen? Retsin?
Thank you so very much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you. Now, yes, this can be replicated in every local government of this country. Because the reality is this: a Ruga, a farm settlement center, is where you pool people, resources, and information together for the greater good of the Nigerian farmer. Look, if we are interested in solving this security challenge, the first thing we do is to ensure that what you have in Nasarawa State that is employing 300 people. During the cultivation time like this, we're employing over 500. That has about 30 Fulani herdsmen with 7 Fulani communities inside the farm. Can be replicated, where you have a section for cattle, you have a section for rice processing, you have a section for gari processing, you have a section for maize flour, you have a section also for poultry. Now everybody can do business within about 1,000 to 2,000 hectares, and there is a lot of land in the north. When you do this, you create an agroeconomic zone. The agroeconomic zone has several benefits. Like I said earlier, you will ensure that insecurity is reduced, because the youths that are being recruited by Boko Haram, the youths that are being recruited by bandits and kidnappers, are youths that don't have jobs. Rural Nigeria is supposed to become a gold mine of opportunities for Nigeria. There must be a process of urban rural migratory program where we move youths from urban area to rural area. But the place must be interesting for them to make it viable, to be interested in coming in. Agriculture must be sexy. So you come to the farm, there is a volleyball court. You come here, there's a basketball court, there's a football court, there's a table tennis court, table tennis board. You also have what you call a snooker board. And it's so interesting that the Fulanis have their own satellite, the ranch have their own satellite, the poultry have their own satellite. So every section of the farm is actually connected with information. You have central wireless service available. You have, like the report said, you have a dam available. We built a dam of about 500 million metric cubic liters of water, and then you have electrical power services. Once you have all of this in place, I can assure you, you are going to have economic benefits, you are going to have social benefits, you are going to have cultural benefits, and then you are going to have, more importantly, a peaceful environment where farmers can thrive, herders can thrive, the community will be peaceful. So yes, it can be replicated, and we are happy to also announce that the national state government is engaging us to set this up in 2 other local governments. The Minister of State for Agriculture, Chehuri, said they are going to ensure that we meet with most of the commissioners of agric in all of the states, so that state can begin to look at practical solutions. You don't need to invite foreigners to come in and provide solution to our own local problem. The local problem is that we have land. The local problem is that we have a population. And the local solution is you must use agriculture to provide jobs and employment opportunity for our people. We must stop complaining of hunger. We must stop complaining of lack of food and lack of jobs. Let us look at the Chinese model. Let us look at the Asian model, who started a cultural revolution that was premised on China first, Asia first, and all of these units. And that is exactly what we're willing to do. Thank you very much.
Fantastic submission there, Red Saying. I mean, particularly looking at your own track record, you understand, to come in with these massive initiatives. Apart from, the state, national state government that is saying you should replicate this in 3 other local governments, like a pilot project again for them, and the Minister of State saying, look, we're going to gather the 36 state commissioners in charge of agriculture and rural development. What kind of support is this Gete Cooperative Society getting first from the Central Bank of Nigeria? Don't forget they have a gargantuan program for agriculture, I would say, then as well as the Bank of Agriculture. What kind of cooperation have you been getting?
I am going to go out of my way to appreciate the central bank and to appreciate the federal government. And this is why. We applied for the commercial agri-credit scheme in 2017. This year, the farm got the support of over 700 million from the central bank to support what we are doing, because the entire project is a local content initiative. Now, the issue is this, and I'm going to be able to put it on air, is that it must become easier for young Nigerians like myself. Of course, I'm not that young. I'm 45 now, going to 46, so I'm not a young Nigerian. To make it easier for young Nigerians to be able to access these facilities. Because the truth is, when it is only the federal government and the central bank that are actually putting their money where their mouth is, and majority of our states are not looking at this initiative, then we are not going to solve the problem of insecurity. We are not going to solve the problem of employment and the problem of hunger in the land. Because the question I've always asked is simple. How is it? I'm an honorable man from the Niger Delta. I'm an honorable headsman anyway today, but I'm an honorable man from the Niger Delta. How is it that Delta State with the capacity of producing enough palm oil for the whole of Africa is not doing enough, and Nigeria have to import palm oil today? How is it that Gary, that is our own, in short, it's like a birthright for us to say now we get Gary? How is it that we're importing Gary from places like Togo or other countries? How is it that we're beginning to import egusi soup from China? There are some look, like I always say on social media, we want well at all for this country. So the reality is that while the central bank is making the effort, and as we speak, also we're also engaging with also the central bank and other government agencies to ensure that paddies are supplied to the farm, because now we can process them. To ensure that soya beans and maize also come to the farm, because what we are even farming on our over 1,000 to 3,000 hectares is not enough for our processing plant. So that because we have a feed mill where we produce the feed also for the poultry. Now, government needs to do more. Now, if you take out the federal government, if you take out the central bank rather, the question is how many people at the state level and at the local government level understand that until and unless a local government are developed in an agrarian mode, where all you are thinking about is how to put the people in rural Nigeria into real employment. Look, it is not, we should stop talking about jobs that are not viable. White collar jobs are not there as they used to be. Unemployment all over the world is skyrocketing. When you are not productive, unemployment becomes an issue.
Redsin Tedeke would have really loved to go on with you. Maybe we'll look for our other platforms, you know, for him to come on and the rest, you know.
Well
but
done.
great job you're doing. Redsin Tedeke is the coordinator of the Nigerian Farmers Group and Cooperative Society.
Nigeria has to grow what it is really.
Absolutely. It's time for a short break. We'll be back shortly.
Hello, welcome. Quickly, want to thank you for going through our story so far. Now, this was an intentional move. We actually want you to, look at how far we have started since 2017. Some of these videos that we have watched from our screen are from 2017, 2018, 2019. Those are our stories that has been shared over time, and that's the backbone of Agba Token. Now, Agba Token, like we said, is not just a token; it's a token that is tokenized for an asset, and NFGCS Farm Estate is the asset. And because of the story so far, because of the struggles, the resilience, because of everything that we have passed through, that's the reason why we said let's look for a new way out, and that's why we are here. So I want to thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your time. So as we begin, we want you to know that this is our story, and it is only us that can take this story to where it needs to be. That's why we're calling on you, Nigerians. We're calling on everyone, calling on the whole world to say, support our story, because our story is our story. Nobody will tell it for us. Nobody will support us. Nobody will support it except us. So thank you so much. Everybody is in the studio right now, so I'm going to put, our brother is there. So my name is Michael Onemisi. That still remains my name. So I have beside me
Francis Osharomi, as usual, cocoa farmer from Wikiti.
Okay.
We're with our brother. We are here with our big brother.
Yes, Redsin Tedeke, as always. I'm not a cocoa farmer, but I have cocoa farmers. I am not a crypto farmer or a blockchain farmer. I am not a developing farmer or a developer farmer. I am an integrated farmer. And I'm happy to be with you this evening, at least to tell the story of Agba Token.
Yeah.
because people need to understand that what are you getting into. And so as we talk about what you are getting into today, as we talk about what this is all about and why the world must see this, you are going to have a very serious conversation. You are going to have a very viable conversation, a conversation of capacity, ability, and willingness for you to educate for those who feel that we have not said enough. You are all welcome to the greatness of agricultural productivity stories as told by NFGCS Farm Estate, and of course, primarily the Agbadocast, Agbado Evolution Podcast. Thank you for having me today.
Okay. Quickly, on your screen, we have our topic for the day, which is called, I'm going to display it on the screen now so that you see it. It's called Agbatokin's vision for agriculture, a case for smallholders. So
smallholder farmers.
Yeah, smallholders farmers or holder farmers. So this as an initiative was not just bettered out of bettered out of nowhere. It was bettered out of struggle, out of resilience, out of stories being told, out of productivity, out of several things that you know about, several things that you have heard about. So, and Agbatokin, like we said, is not just a token. It's a token that is going to empower farmers. It's a token that is going to enable farmers. It's a token that is going to inspire farmers to know that fundings can actually be gotten through blockchain technology. And we want our brother Rex Tedeke, our big bros, to talk more or share a little thing or a little story about how Agbatokin and farmers can come together and give us a boost in the agricultural sector.
When I am told to speak, there's always a caveat. I hope you will not stop me when I start. People are always
even for Arise, they stop you because you are too faster than them.
The thing is this, and like I said, today is a day we look at Agbatokin. And I'm going to speak to the Nigerian farmers who understand what I'm talking about. And not just the Nigerian farmer, the investors in agriculture. We're talking to the Nigerian farmers, very strategic.
Yes.
We're talking to investors in the Nigerian space, also very strategic. And we're also talking to government. So let me talk to the Nigerian farmers. Let me talk to the needs of the Nigerian farmers. Look, the Nigerian farmer, I always say, Francis, is the most productive engine of the Nigerian economy.
Yeah.
People don't get this, but let me put it out there. Do you know how difficult it is to produce food in this country? It's actually a very tough job to put food on the table. It's a tough job for family to put food on the table. It's a tougher job for farmers to make sure that families are able to put food on the table. It's a tougher job for farmers to ensure that not only families are putting food on the table, but government are also able to export the excesses. So it's a very tough job. Now, one of the toughest part of this job of farming is financing. Farmers don't have money.
Yeah.
You need to understand that if farmers had money, our grandparents would not be poor. They were poor. All of them were poor. But they were very dedicated towards ensuring that as they go to farm, they use the agriculture to do what? To send their children to school. To build the small houses they are staying, mud houses. Even though we're going to have that conversation another day, where we're going to look at the concept of using bricks and blocks to build estates and reduce the cost of building in Nigeria, which is also part of the agricultural productivity process. So they did not have access to money, no resources. So they were able to farm within their means. And that is the story of the smallholder farmers across the world. They don't have the resources they need to be able to continue to produce food for you and I. Of course, I'm a farmer, so I'm also producing food for you, Nigerians, and people from the world. So you see, the real productive engine of the world that makes what humanity needs to survive, because the primary thing humanity needs to survive is food. It's not smartphone. It's not the bombs that Iran and Israel are throwing upon themselves. No. The primary thing humanity needs to survive is food. And the smallholder farmers are responsible for majority of the food that the world eats. But they don't have money. Now, Agbatokin is trying to come in to ask the question. And the question is, if farmers don't have money, how do you make sure they have access to resources? Because what farmers need money for are two things: inputs and labor. Okay, maybe three: input, labor, and warehousing. So, where is the money for them to have access to inputs? When the CBN government said came up and said, okay, we're not going to be funding agriculture. Of course, okay, sorry, they didn't say they're not going to fund agriculture. They said we're going to move agricultural financing to what? To agencies within government that understand agricultural funding, which is the Ministry of Agriculture. And I've said that is a very good thing to do. But what is the speed of them doing it? And can you really depend on Nigerian government as the way it stands for us to produce food? Sorry. The reality is that no, you cannot. Like I said a couple of days ago, one of the reasons, of course, we are playing videos for you, but let me also say this. One reason you have to play video for so long is because you're trying to get your power up. So, what is power? Power leads to food production. And so I said a couple of days ago, I said, look, you want Nigerian farmers to perform miracle when they don't have power. You want Nigerian processors to perform miracle when they don't have power. So the key is this. We have to provide resources for the smallholder farmers. Now, Agbatokin is tapping into the blockchain technology. It's tapping into the crypto technology. We are going to use this word because if you like carry cutlass to come after our head, we have to utilize what's available as technology to support the people who need the support and produce food for a generation. Because we are hungry. This is to chop 3 square meal, no problem. Let me make, I don't say madam going to hear me now. Give me rice this afternoon. Now 1 meat. And I was like, Mama, what is this? But she said, chop it. And what do I have to chop it? Because that's what's available. Now, that is exactly what we need to produce more. So that mamas can be put into 3-4 meats on when we are chopping fried rice. You get the point. The thing is this. The resources is not there for massive food production. So the smallholder farmer don't have resources. You don't have money for input. You don't have money. Doesn't have money for labor. You don't have money for warehousing. How then is he expected to go and produce food? No matter how technologically savvy anybody becomes, you need food to be able. You need to belly food. See the belly bar? You need to food. When the belly food finish, you go feel good. Like a developer go feed the developer. The guys want money when we say the guy show. In a bone face anyhow. Now look at gauge him for corner. Let go and say the size of the stomach reduce more. Now tell Mama Sabe go arrange something. As they arrange something before the thing land, the guy don't knock. As he knock and finish. I don't see him again. I can't go check conference room. The guy they I say, you see it? You see it? Inside escalation, exactly. So you see, we need to support the smallholder farmers. So Agbatokin. So while we discuss the first one, that we're talking about the farmer now, before we move on to investment as well as government. The first thing is farmers need money. Look, they're not the pray make money show. Like they would have people, they're not the charge make manhood rise. They're not the charge. No, we're on there. They're not the charge make manhood rise. You're not well. So you cannot keep saying that farmers will have a way. Farmers will not have a way. Where is the way? You need to provide the resources. Now, because that is not available, Agbatokin, we're trying to say, look, with Agbatokin, every Nigerian, because this is very, people need to understand this. You're doing your pre-launch. With your pre-launch, you're looking at almost to do a 50% discount. At 50% discount, it means that we're saying that if you have 3,000 in this country, you can actually buy 10 units of Agbatokin and hold it. Imagine you mean that you are holding 10 units of whatever is in energy sales from Tigati, whatever is going to be in Lagos or in Kebbi, or you are holding. So imagine if you have 30,000 naira, you are holding how many? 100 units. If you have 300,000, you are holding 1,000 units. Every Nigerian, imagine, and the people think that this is really tough. It's not tough. We're tokenizing the asset. So you can own anything. You can own this microphone. You can own this wire. You can own this barbed wire. All you are doing is to generate resources that can be mobilized for the smallholder farmers tomorrow, so that they can produce food. Because when they produce food, Nigeria can be safer. Our economy can be bigger. The country can be safer. The country will have food to give. There will be nutrition, and then we can become a better people. Guys, Take it off.
I'm literally, holding a microphone, literally. Okay, so you're holding a token. And no, let's look at it this way. You have a token there. And let me use like an imagination. Then the token is empowering a farm. Okay. Now the farm is making sure there is productivity, not just for the farm, but for other farms, for other agricultural hubs, and so on. Now, when all those productivities that are happening there is still going to go back to the token, which means the amount of productivity on the farm, on the project, on everything that is happening on the agricultural hubs and whatever is going to also empower the token. Now, and also, it's like a vice versa thing. The token empowers the agriculture. The agriculture, once it's productive, also empowers the token. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win for both the token holders, for people that want to invest, that want to stake on behalf of agriculture, and for people that are into the agriculture. So it's a win-win for everybody. So now when we look at it, like we said, Agba token is us tapping into the blockchain technology, into the finances that are in the blockchain technology, so that like our brother have mentioned, so that we don't need to be struggling. Government don't need to be looking for where is money. They said now money that they use look for money. But if you use money, look for money and you don't see money. It don't happen several times. But we are looking at how we can tap into that technology. And that's the reason for the Agba token. And like our brother have said, you see, one thing we need to understand is, like we have said from the beginning, it is our own. It is our job. Yes. It is our job. So we all need to put hands together. Okay. In case you don't understand, go to the website agpatoken.com. Go through it. If you don't still understand, there is a support.
Please put the website for them to see. Yeah.
Yes.
Upload it while you are talking so that
quickly. Agpatoken.
Okay, scrolling on the bar, right?
Yes, I'm going to put it so that it will just scroll. Okay. So quickly, it's scrolling now. Agpatoken.com. So in case you don't know anything, or you are still thinking, what is Agba token? Go to the website. You have the access. Go to the download page and download the white paper. Read everything. Try to know what Agba token is. Agba token is all about empowering farmers. It's all about making sure there is food security. It's all about making sure there is food availability. It's all about making sure that there is employment for the rural Nigeria, for everybody, everywhere. So it's all about making sure that there is zero hunger. So just like our brother said, me, I would like to eat 25 meat on a good day. But right now, even one I don't see.
The thing for Francis, smallholder farmer, you are a cocoa farmer.
Yes.
Because you are a smallholder. Yes, you are a smallholder farmer. Okay, sorry, you're not a cocoa merchant. The challenges in plantation sector. But you are a part of the development process under the leadership of Michael Nimisi. The development process for a cocoa farmer and Nigerian farmers generally. How do you think that Agba token can solve that problem? Looking at where we're coming from.
Well, it's massive to start with. The project itself is very massive, and I see myself enmeshed as not as a participant or not as part of the development team or whatever. I see myself enmeshed in a continuous, in an endless dream of possibility when eventually Agba token comes around. As a small cocoa farmer, a smallholder cocoa farmer, I am using the experience passed to me by my father. Even though I went to school, I did not read agriculture, and most of the books that I read, they are theoretical, they are not practicable. It's not something, when you read some things online on Google, by the time you go to the farm, you say you want to practice it, it's not going to work. It's going to be a flop.
Right.
So my father understood, it's late now, my father understood the essence of life itself, all the processes. He was not just a cocoa farmer, he was a yam farmer. Wow. He's into maize farming. That's what most of the smallholders do. He's into maize farming.
Yeah, that's right.
And he now understood the essence of it without being taught. He knew he was going to retire. He's using cocoa for the retirement plan. He didn't go to any bank, he didn't go to any school, he didn't go to anywhere.
Yeah.
To have been taught that okay, you have to plan for your retirement, you have to do this when you're aging, this is what you rely on. So he did all that. And I assume that the experiences too were passed on to him by his fathers and maybe grandfathers. And the cycle continues to go like that. If he was able to produce under that circumstances, where he had no access to educational facilities, he had no access to educational exposure or anything, and he was able to maintain his educational experience. Imagine what me, his son, would do if I have access to 500,000, 1 million that is based on performance, that is driven by performance, productivity.
Yeah.
You understand? My commitment as a young person going into cocoa farming. Some of my people will see me and be like, why, what are you doing in agriculture? Go and get something doing. So the commitment, the passion is already there. Once I now get access to financing, to be able to have a leverage, to stand on, imagine what I would do. Because I know there's no, is it at this time now that I will now go and be playing football or running athletics? This is my life, this is my vision, this is where I will die. So all I need is to scale. And how do I scale without finances? So that is where the challenge is enormous for the smallholders. But there's light at the end of the tunnel for them. It's been a long drive of endless, visionless, I don't know how to call it now. Because when a smallholder wakes up every day, it's my leader that always say that you have to be an incurable optimist.
Yes, as a farmer, or you die.
When you go to the communities, you would understand what we are saying.
Yeah.
That it is not easy. And when you look at even the production, my brother here is a big farmer. He has bigger, but money.
No, not your brother here. We all, because all of you are part of the project.
Yes. We have a
so
developer farmer.
Yeah, all of you have become a part of the
We have
process.
a big
So
farm here.
it's a farm.
I often say that managing my 1.5 cocoa hectare is much more seamless compared to what goes on here. I can stand at a point and look around all the farm and know where there's a problem and know where.
Yes.
So I can do anything. I just go there. I just do what I want to do. But this is over 1,000 hectares. You know, where do you want to go from? So when you send somebody to do something,
that is the beauty of tokenization in agriculture. So let me now. You see, I'm going to come from what you have just said. Over 1,000 hectares land. You can tokenize land.
Exactly. That's like real estate.
Several cattle, hundreds of cattle, animal. You can tokenize the cattle. Poultry. We are currently, you can even look in the case of poultry, which we've discussed about it. We're evolving a local poultry program that will revolutionize poultry farming in Nigeria. We have started it already. Now, people, when we started, it was almost like a joke. But now, every week, you're pulling 20, 30 into the pen.
Some of them, they say, this one, they don't look fresh.
You get it?
Very big.
Exactly. Now, we are evolving a local chicken program. You can tokenize that program. You have a fish pond section that is capable of holding 2-3 million fish. You are tokenizing that section. You have a dam that can hold over 500 million cubic liters of water, both during the rainy season and the dry season, so that there is the capacity and the capability for all year-round farming. That is what you are tokenizing. Now, the unique thing about it is that you have a sports center, you have the golf course, you have the realization, and as I said, please, the video about the 3D view of what we hope to achieve. We need to upload the video. We need to play it so that people can begin to have an idea. If you can upload it to this, let them begin to see it, right? Now, once you're playing, let me know. Now, you have that as, even if you can't do it now, we'll do it in the next episode. Okay. So we'll prepare for it properly. You have that, and that is also something that people are tokenizing. People can buy into. You have this studio. And when I said it, I was really literal. But look at the studio like this. To set up this studio is currently valued at over 5 million naira with regards to the assets and equipment. That is what they are tokenizing. You have your joint. Agba token bar.
Yes.
Okay, so when people hear Agba token bar, what's an Agba token bar? You have the VIP session, you have the joint itself. The entire joint is valued at close to 100 million naira. That is what you are tokenizing. So we are saying that, look, we have gone through the effort to build this project. Okay, now investors are coming in, drivers are coming in to make sure that while this has been done, we are now taking it to the next level. But where is the best place? Where is the best zone? What is the best thing we can do at this level to say, okay, look, we are capable of changing the narrative. We are capable of driving the process. We are capable of ensuring that, yes, assets like this across the country can become a source of blockchain technology tokenization using the token AGBA, AGBT.
Yes,
okay,
AGBT.
One AGBT is zero on the pre-sale is 0.25 for pre-sale, and then after about a month or so of pre-sale, it's going to go to about 0.5. So within a period of about maybe a month, you actually see increase in, it's almost like double. You're increasing the value.
Yeah.
However, it's a holding coin for those who are doing pre-sale. So you are holding, we are building, we are growing, we are developing our people, we are developing our smallholder farmers, and giving them the ability to be able to say, look, we are farmers. We are smallholder farmers who are capable of producing food. So the first, the thing is, the tokenization as a concept is, let us drive the process of growth, of food production, of social stability, of economic growth and security via a technology that is open to anybody from all over the world. Because the unique thing about and Mike, this is something I want you to talk about. The unique thing about the blockchain technology is that there are no restrictions really. Yeah. You know, the traditional financial model has a lot of restrictions, has a lot of challenges. But the blockchain technology does not have those restrictions. And once you are doing something legitimate,
except for government regulations.
Yeah, no, even government regulations, for what it's worth, it's not a challenge, it's not a problem.
No, it's not.
Government regulation, right, is to ensure that you are not creating a crisis environment in that sector. So you don't have to be pumping billions of dollars into a sector using a particular technology. The government cannot say money is moving from year to year. We have an understanding about the process itself. So I think that the real thing for us, before we move to, now we're talking about the smallholder farmer.
Yes.
We're talking about funding as a challenge of the smallholder farmer. Before I talk about what investors need to do with regards to smallholder farmer, yes, the thinking generally is that blockchain technology beats traditional technology when it comes to funding.
Many banks are even switching. For now, the good thing is, like I said, the Hong Kong Central Bank has found a way to tokenize the whole of Hong Kong reserve. Now, what people are doing is people are moving from this traditional movement that has been existing. If you look at it before, there used to be this commercial, industrial, and people went into technology. Then now people are moving from the traditional form of banking to look for how, like the JP Morgan and Chase, they're looking for how to tokenize even some of the assets within the banks. So people are looking for, okay, how do we do things differently? Things that has been done this way. And though we have achieved some success over the years, but how can we do it differently? Due to the blockchain, the funniest thing is it started with Bitcoin. It started with the Bitcoin blockchain. Now we have more than 100 blockchain technology over there. So, and many of them are still struggling to meet up with some of them that have been there. But the good part of it, like we said, is there is a whole lot of resources that can be driven from there into any sector, not just even agriculture. But what we are looking for Agba token is we are driving those resources, we are driving those funds from there so that the agriculture can feel the impact. The smallholder farmers can feel the impact. Everybody that needs to feel the impact, estates like ours can also feel the impact. And that's the reason for Agba token. And we keep saying that in case you don't understand, check the website. Because Agba token is, like we said, is not just a token. It's a token that helps you to use, as if you are saying, I want to empower farmers. And like we said, it's a win-win. So it's not as if you are giving it out. Do you understand? So maybe we're going to take time. Then we're going to run you through our assets. Then before the pre-sale, we're also going to run you through the terms and conditions for pre-sale. Now, like we have mentioned, for pre-sale, we are slicing the price of the token by half. That's 0.25, supposed to be 0.5. So 0.25 for now in Naira should be around maybe 200, almost 300 Naira.
Yeah.
250 to 300 Naira. So which means with 3,000 you can hold like 10 Agba token. With 1,000 you can hold about almost more than 10 or so. So what we are saying is, it is you that can help in driving this message. It is you that can help in pushing this message. And we know people all around the world. Some people are sending us email. This is a great idea and we are in it. This is good. This is a good initiative. But all we are saying is, you also need to understand, as the farmer, you need to know that farming is moving even from the traditional aspect of farming into the technology aspect of farming. Because yes, we'll still need hoes, we'll still need cutlass, we'll still need everything. But without the funds, only hoes and cutlass cannot do the work. So that's just it. So I don't know, I'll hand over to my brother.
It's just like I keep saying, it's beyond even trying to hold about talking. A lot of us actually want to, a lot of us are humanitarian.
Yes.
We want to touch life. You want to contribute your own quota to people's health, to see people living healthy. Basic nutritional provision, food security, and all that. This is a way for you to do that. You don't have to go and hold cutlasses or hold goals.
Many people that maybe you have passion, maybe you have passion for farming, and you feel
and you're a banker.
I can't even do it.
Exactly.
So, but the money I'm using to buy Agba token, you are empowering somebody to farm. So at the end of the day,
feeding a family.
Yes. At the end of the day, the money is still coming back to you. It's not as if you are giving it out, like we said. So when you are holding it, you are empowering farmers.
Exactly.
And the farmers also are also empowering you in return.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they are making sure that your money comes back in another form.
And even looking beyond that.
Yes.
I want to emphasize that when you contribute to whatever fund or whatever assets that you are keying into, you are feeding a family.
Yeah.
Do you know how many families are hungry as we speak?
Yes.
A lot of smallholder farmers, according to statistics, studies have shown that in Nigeria, majority of the smallholder farmers, which I'm part of them, live below $1.90.
Wow.
Imagine. And you work your ass out and you are not saying anything. And at the end of the day, agriculture is a poverty alleviation scheme. So we need to just wake up. And they say if you want something done, you have to do it yourself. And if you want to, the best way to change it,
you have to do it with more people.
Exactly. Collaborate.
Yes, that's the...
Because if you collaborate, you are going to be able to actually achieve a lot.
Yeah.
So we're calling on you. Agba talking is too extensive for a day discussion.
Yes, it's very extensive. But the basic thing is, by the pre-sale, buy. Once you are buying, you are empowering the farmer. Now, as you are empowering the farmer, they are going to farm and they are going to bring food on the table. They are also going to bring money on the table. It's two ways. They are bringing food on the table. They are bringing money on the table.
For you.
So there is a win-win for everyone.
And they are even feeding other families. And look at what is happening with look at what is happening with the aviation industry.
Yes.
Before now,
the
prices of flight between what's it called, Lagos and London used to be 2.something million, 3.something million. But now, because of EP6 and indigenous company having the audacity to challenge. So in this agriculture,
the audacity to challenge. Yes. I love that word. You should be the audacity to disrupt.
Maybe to disrupt. And what we are building about talking is a disruptive agricultural financing sector.
Yeah. You see, the unique thing about our conversation is that we're focusing on local solution. Again, we have to be very clear that the smallholder farmer in Nigeria have bigger problem with funding than even the security. You see, most times, if the funding component of agriculture is done right, the local farmer, in most cases, can even provide his own security. But government, yes, if the resources are available, in some cases, he can provide his own security. So he doesn't have the capacity financially. What can he provide? He cannot provide mechanization. No. He cannot take care of manpower. No. He cannot take care of security, even if he has to. Look, NFGCS Farmer said it's an example. We are providing our own security.
Yes.
Okay. So because we cannot sit down on 1,000 hectares, we cannot sit on 1,000 hectares and not secure it and fold our hands. Okay. Now, see, because when we talk to you, farmers need to understand, Nigerians need to understand something about agricultural investment. There's always this mistake with Nigerians. When you talk about anything that has to do with farmers, you say government should not get involved with your farm. Investors come in and say, how much can you make? I was telling Mike, I think I had a conversation with two of you.
Yes.
Of an investor who came here a couple of months ago, who said, look, man, I love this project. He was really, really interested. I want to king. And so we did a calculation for him. I said, look, we have gone beyond the era where you come in and make demand from us.
Yes.
We are no longer interested in that era. We don't do that no more. However, a trailer load of rice is about 600 bags. So you quickly do the math for me. By 60,000, how much is that? 600 times 60,000. How much is that? So we say, look, let's do a trailer load of rice with regards to investment. That's about 6 million, right? Good. I said, okay. You do about 30 million or so for, what do you call it? For to get paddy and labor and everything. And the plus or minus will make about between 3 to 5 million as profit on the trailer. And he said that's too small. And I said, now you born out with this. That was it. Now cocaine and business that you want to do. That even if you're able to make 3 million, on a trailer load of rice, which total cost 36 million, you should sing hallelujah, because it means that you're making about 10%. And he said that's not enough. So investors must understand that, look, the biggest challenge some of us had when we started agriculture was we felt that we can take 100 million and in a year make 200 million. It can never work in agriculture. Whether you are doing short-term agriculture, or you are doing medium-term agriculture, or you are doing long-term agriculture, investors must understand this foundation, which is one of the things that Agbatokin is trying to solve. And that is the whole concept of Agbatokin. Yes. The whole thing is, look, you are not coming into the agricultural space. You are not investing in Mr. John's farm in Niger State, or Mr. Adamu farm in Delta, or Mr. Chibuzo's farm in Anambra. After 3 months, you are asking Mr. Chibuzo that, yeah, my money. After 6 months,
you don't even know where the investment
exactly
is.
No,
slated
exactly
that is going to be this farm or that farm.
Exactly.
Or it's going to empower farmers.
Farmers, now you're not working
in Kenya, it can be in London, it can be anywhere, it can be empowering any of the farmers, but we are looking at empowering the local farmers.
But the key point I'm trying to make is you're not going to wake up and say, after 6 months, brought my money. No. Because if you need to, you see, I always say that agriculture is like planting. You must look at agriculture as a tree planter, as a family man or woman. When you get belly, sorry, this is very, very logical. When you get belly, sometimes it will take time before the belly show. Yeah. When the belly show, you go can't take time before you manage the belly for 9 months. From belly showing to carrying belly, you're looking at about 1 year. As you don't carry and finish, you go come born. Pikin, you go struggle come up pikin for belly. You go first nurture the pikin, carry the pikin. Pikin go first sit down. Then you go come begin try to stand. When you stand finish, you go come take step. As you take step, you go come waka. As you go waka, you go come run. As you run, you go come grow. It's a process. It's like planting a tree. Palm tree, you plant it today. You wait for the next 5 years. Before you what? Before you're thinking about harvesting. But after the first 5th year, you will not even get all that you need. You harvest over 2 or 3 years. Make it stabilize. As you go, come on. The first harvest is not always very good. Second harvest maybe not too good. From the third, fourth harvest, you then start. Then from there, you harvest for the next 20 years. Agbatokin Agbatokin wants to bring back that culture of Nigerians understanding that my investment, the word that started, our investment in agriculture is not an investment in a Ponzi scheme. If it becomes a Ponzi scheme, it means that I can wake up more money and say, Oh, I'm going to give you 100%. And then the next time you're not getting it, money don't go. Place you don't go see. You know, so I always say,
how you want to do 100%? How you want even do 50%?
I want to do 30%. So we Agba talking, right? The revolution and pioneering agricultural financing for smallholder farmer, right? It's all about looking at the challenge of the farmer and telling investors all over the world, look, we have a foundation and a platform that you can work with. We have a system that can support your dream, your vision of humanitarian issues. You said something, Francis, about that we must. There are those who are looking at agriculture as a humanitarian concept. Yes. There are those who want to fund agriculture so that you can produce food for people. Yes. But primarily, agriculture, and we are going to say, we'll talk about government, must first and foremost not be seen as a profitable venture. No. It has to first and foremost be seen as a social stability issue. And that's where government has to play a major role. Before investors cannot come in and say, okay, now we want to make money. But what are you making money on? You're making money on the infrastructure built by government. What are you making money on? You're making money on the social-cultural stability created by what? By the security apparatus of government. What are you making money on? You're making on a foundation that gives your investment the veracity, the viability, the viable capacity to be able to do something. So at the end of the day, what really matters for every investor out there is this. Think long term, think stability, think profitability. But don't think profitability first. Think profitability last. But stability, viability, profitability. I always say that if you come into any community, if you want to do agriculture in any community, if you want to succeed with agriculture in any society, the first thing you do is to understand the interest and the need of the people. Exactly. That's the first thing you do. You see, if you walk into a place and you say, I don't care about their need, I don't care about their interest, I don't care about their capacity, and you go there straight, and what you're doing is you want to make money, you will never make money from there. No matter the agriculture you do, you will make money. But when you go into any community and say, okay, you don't have road, we'll try and solve your road. You don't have water, I'll try and give you water. You don't have lights, let me see what I can do. As you're thinking of their problem, you're thinking of your own. Yeah. Once you create that socio-cultural solution, your business stability will be assured. Your profitability will become a component of future stability. So what must happen with investors? And I think I'm going to come back to you here. What investors, what we're telling investors to do across the world, as you put your 1,000, as you put your 10,000, your 3,000, your $1 million, your $10 million, whatever you're putting on the table, for those who are buying into the vision, you must understand that you are focusing on a vision for food stability, sociocultural stability, economic growth, and profitability. I don't know if I'm saying something that makes sense.
Now quickly, but I think, like we said, people still need to get it.
Yeah.
That's the reason for if you look at it, maybe you go and do your own research on your own. Now, every token, every cryptocurrency out there has a white paper. Now, the white paper is like their own terms and conditions of how the token is going to be. Now, just like Bitcoin, the first Bitcoin has its white paper that states how many Bitcoin is going to be released. Till today, it's just 21 million Bitcoin all over the whole world. You understand? And people have been holding it bit by bit in different forms. Now, we need to understand that Agba token also is just like the cryptocurrency or just like the tokens. And it is a tokenized asset. Okay? So because it's tokenized assets and because it's a productivity driven initiative, you need to understand that that's the reason why we have the white paper. That's the reason why we have on the white paper we have the classes of assets. Now the classes of assets for buy and hold, we have about 4 different categories. Then we have the AFF, which is Agba Token Food Fund, which is meant for institutions, for governments, for NGOs and so on. Then we also have the buy and use, which you can use for transactions to buy paddy. You can pay somebody with Agba Token. If you have it, once you buy it on the app, you can just use it to pay for Agba Token, pay for your paddy, pay for anything, pay for rice, pay for a meal. You understand? So, but what we are saying for those 4 categories, we are even going to have a pre-sale category because I'm going to make sure we add it so that for pre-sale, like we mentioned, people cannot just say, okay, because it's going for 0.259. You know, Nigerian people used to rush it. Since it's 0.25, let's go and buy it. When it's 0.5, we'll just sell. If I put 50,000, that means by the time it will be 0.5, it's going to be 100,000. But it is not done that way. Yes, it's going to be 100,000, but it must have passed through a productive road. Let me put it that way.
Yes.
You go pass through productive road. And the productive road is farming. So it must have passed through the farming stage, the resilient stage, what's that stage? The optimistic stage. So you need to understand that before it gets to where it has to be productive. So whatever amount, whatever fund you're putting into agriculture is because that's why the thing that will be at the back of your mind is production.
Yeah. Now,
production, not for you to just make profits. Yes, you are going to make profit, but without production, you can't make profit.
You can't make profit.
So we need to be productive. Farms, smallholders, everybody needs to be productive so that you can make.
So the investment practically is all about productivity.
Yes,
Francis,
it's
am I correct?
productivity.
Now, Francis, you are, as a smallholder farmer.
Even the valuation, the valuation is based on productivity.
Yeah. As a smallholder farmer, that we all are. Your challenges when it comes to funding or investors, what they have come to you with. Give us an insight.
It's crazy. Yeah, so I don't even go the route of listening to investors or looking for investors because investors want to put 5 naira and get 100 naira back.
Bam.
And if they are not getting 100 naira back, you are a scammer.
Yes,
you are a fraudster, you are an armed robber, you are a wife snatcher, you are everything. So what
I like that you're an armed robber.
So I just believe that my 100 naira is better than an investor's 1 million naira.
You don't want to be like people like us that went that go through fire.
I'm a small bros. But you know that, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge because I'm thinking about expansion. I'm thinking about cultivating more. Clearing more lands and all that. I have my own personal vision as to how I want to go with cocoa farming. But the challenge has always been the finances. You as a farmer, everybody just look at you. If you are into agribusiness, they just see you as a tool to achieve whatever that they want to achieve. Yep. They are not going to go into the dungeon with you. Yes. They are not going to face the snake with you. They are not going to face any problem with you. Yes. They cannot sleep on the farm with you. Yes. They just believe once they give you money, they are God. So that's why I don't even go the route of looking for investors. Whatever, it could take me 100 years.
The funniest thing is, it's not even just, let's be very frank to ourselves, it's not even just agriculture. To get people, they usually used to say that if you want to start something, start by yourself. Because sometimes you will go to somebody's investor that then will call discourage you. Just say this is your farm for work. How many people they buy cocoa sets?
Exactly.
You understand? The same person that knows that it can work, but because of his own fear that this money now people can hear go lost, so let me just discourage him, may just go. You understand? Many people will always want to discourage you, but the moment when you don't start and you have gone far, and after because this cocoa farm they really work. How much you gonna need now? You understand? Then if you see where it's still funnier, even with the money you still bring, you still want to oppress you.
Exactly.
How far now? You never sell your cocoa.
Yes, so
I say, guy, if an investor give you money and the time is everything
about all these conversations of sell cocoa, not sell cocoa.
That one is out of it.
With Agba token, there is no such conversation because you're going to have a dashboard on your phone to monitor.
Either you are a farmer or you are.
So nobody is going to be asking anybody plenty questions. You already is a smart. That's why it's a smart contract. You have agreed that I'm going to keep this fund here for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months. It's a contract. So when you wait, and one thing is, it is automatic. Exactly. You understand? It's not something that even like it's a contract. You understand? It's a contract on the blockchain, and the blockchain is audited. They have been audited. Nobody has the power to go and manipulate anything. It is audited. So which means once you sign that contract, okay, I want to hold this for 3 months. Once it's exactly 3 months, it will return your fund for you to be able to withdraw. So the moment you don't feel like to withdraw it, you feel okay with it, you can restake it on your own. So it's a contract. So and all this conversation of you never sell this, you go sell this, you know what?
No
such conversation, no frustration, because it's very frustrating.
Have time.
Yeah, it's going to be very frustrating.
Do whatever they want to do and come out with the result of their productivity.
Yes.
And that is what I'm about to see. It's more like
many people are being frustrated because of somebody give you 10,000 naira to empower your farm. They want to frustrate you. So we're erasing that frustration.
You will not rest.
You will not rest. Some people can call you 1 million times. So because
people who are going to come and be part of and hold classes within the Agbatoke community are going to be people who really understand the essence and the practicality of what we are trying to put together.
Even people don't understand. You know, many people that tell you Bitcoin, they don't even understand, but they put fun. Some of them they don't lose their trace.
And Bitcoin waiting till today now. You know who get Bitcoin?
Nobody.
This one now. See, this thing is a different stuff.
You know who you know the project.
You know this project now. When there is an additional project, you
will know
everything is there. Now, like we said, this is like the foundation of the assets, the tokenized asset. So when there is an acquisition of any other asset that is tokenized as part of the Agbatoke, you will know. So you can walk into any of them to even inspect on your and say, I'm a holder, I hold this social amount.
Yes.
You see, the app server and your dashboard is your passport to enter anywhere and say, see, I'm holding 1 million Agbatoke, so you can allow me to enter this facility without holding me. So that's just it. You have access to work, but not go to frustrate somebody.
This conversation is very, very important.
Yeah, it's very, very important.
Because you see, this like I said when we started, the smallholder farmer has a financing problem.
Exactly.
There is no loan. That the smallholder farmer in Nigeria is trying to assess that is good, that is reasonable. The interest rates are now around 30%.
Yes.
Even if the cheapest government loan out there are 10%, 10% is not good for the Nigerian smallholder farmer. Now, they can't even see that 10% again. 15% is not good for him. 30% is not good for him. If you go to loan app, now die. That's just to kill them. If you go to private lending, private lenders are doing 10% in the month. So which Nigerian farmer is going to be able to do that? But before we go to government, Agbatoke and government and the rest, I want to play that video of where this I think it's this man is representing Hussein. Let our people listen to that video, because it's very important for us to have access to that video. So that people can begin to actually visualize what.
To still dwell on what I had earlier said a couple of months back during the screening of the governor of the CBN. The CBN governor alluded to the fact that CBN was going to recede back from being an interventionist agency to a more regulatory mode. And I remember, and I'm sure you remember the CBN governor, I actually pointed out the danger in taking that position, having regard to the frail structure of the Nigerian economy and also the general structure itself. About 70% of the economy is in the informal sector. So therefore, intervention is very critical and important, especially having regard to the milestones that have been recorded over the years. I don't think my take was that at that time you were actually leveraging on the problems that we had in perhaps maybe the agricultural credit guarantee scheme and the Anko Baro scheme. But I believe if we had institutionalized and corrected the lapses in those programs, we wouldn't be talking about food security as we are here today. My concern is about the food security situation generally in Nigeria. And I also don't subscribe to the idea of importing food to bridge the shortages and to bridge the gap. Now, let me give you a simple analysis. Take 30 big millers in Nigeria. Grant them maybe a low-interest loan of, let's say, 10 billion naira, and give them 10,000 hectares of land, which Minister of Agri can coordinate. With that, you can rest assured that you should be able to produce 100,000 paddy rice per season. 100,000 paddy rice per season will give you about 2 million processed rice. 2 million processed rice, 2 million tons of processed rice will cost almost 1 trillion naira. I think with that kind of thinking, a coordinated approach to address the issue of food shortage is a better way. CBN can drive it in the area of funding. Federal Ministry of Agri can coordinate in terms of providing the expertise And then the state government can provide the land. We have big-time farmers, we have big-time millers, processors that can actually do the job. So I still feel CBN can actually work towards going back to the interventionist era and improve in terms of delivery. We shouldn't throw the baby with the bathwater. It is, I think, a wrong approach, and I'm making this statement for the third time to the CBN governor. Again, as part of my concern, I also disagree with the idea of just dumping money by way of palliatives, by way of grants, dumping money on the head of people to say that, oh, 5,000 naira palliatives and all of that. I don't subscribe to that. We should channel our resources into productive sectors of the economy. For instance, take public works. If you engage our youth that are loitering around, pay them 5,000 naira per day to clear drainages by the roadside, cut grasses and vegetation by the roadside, properly coordinated and packaged, it can actually drive direct and indirect employment, and it will solve part of the problem of unemployment, even if temporary employment. So those two key sectors, public works and agriculture, should drive whatever reform program we are putting in place. But I still believe CBN needs to do more in terms of strengthening the delivery mechanism for the intervention programs that are already in place. The ACGS of the 70s, Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme, that had been in place for the past 40, 50 years, was a success. And I believe leveraging on that, we can do more in terms of repackaging it, keeping it in tune with the realities of the time, so that our people can go back to the farms and we can be able to have something to do. So I think I will stop here and perhaps
thank you. Let's. I know this.
Okay. The thing is this: when you listen to is Senator, Nigerian Senator, what's the name? Senator Hussaini from Jigawa. Yes, it is very. I am pleased. I'm satisfied, because these are the roles that government need to play with regards to Agbatokin. You see, because look, what is one of the best ways of driving investment in agriculture, in your people, in your communities, in your societies, if not participate in projects and opportunities, that the private projects and opportunities and initiatives that can help in growing the capacity of the people? That's exactly what Agbatokin is talking about. Yes. That is the classification we're talking about. A government may not, CBN may no longer be interested in directly involving development finance, and that's a good thing. So state government must now step up. Not just state government, local government must step up. Institutions, development institutions and agencies must step up. Federal Ministry of Agriculture must step up. And what are you doing? Imagine a state government coming up and saying, look, we're taking 10 billion naira holding in Agbatokin. And the reason we're holding 10 billion Agbatokin is because we want every senatorial district in my state to have a farm estate, yes, like Energy State farm estate. Imagine if you are staking on that is your stake. So you are not coming to say, I want money, I want profit. No. You are coming to say, I want to invest, make sure people have job, grow the GDP of my state, make my state more productive. That's exactly what you're saying. And so governments, like we said, must understand that the need of this primary need of the smallholder farmer is funding. Yes. And if there is an entity like Agbado Evolution Technologies, yes, who are literally taking over the energy system estate, yes, if there's an entity like Agbado Evolution Technology, if there's a project like Energy CS farm estate, then what government needs to do is to replicate. That's what this man is saying. That's what the senator is saying. Senator is saying that, look, what stops you from looking at the biggest farms across this country and saying, I am going to give you 10 billion. All of these major projects, you have a mandate. 1,000 jobs, 2,000 jobs. You have a mandate. Make sure you are producing rice. You give them a mandate. And like I added, I said, put the EFCC in those places. The EFCC must be part of those places. And make sure that none of those entities are involved in dollar transactions. Now, dollar, you want to plant yam. Do you understand? So, the role of government is very, very crucial, very, very critical, and very, very important. It is important in channeling the mind of the people towards projects and programs that aid their own development and growth. It is important in funding opportunities, infrastructures that are capable of lifting up the lifestyle and the livelihood of the people. It is also very important in providing the support base, the foundation that their people can stand, elevate them, make them productive, and enhance the economy of the state. Once that is done, you create security. Because the business of government is what? Is the safety of life and property of our citizens, whether at the federal level, at the state level, or at the local government level. So, government, Francis, I mean, please, don't come and tell us that it's only one cocoa that the Christian government have planted. Tell us something about what government can do, particularly in the Southwest. Look, the Southwest is somebody was trying to get in touch with me today, and he was saying, Mr. Retin, I want to farm. I get these things a lot. People think that I know everything about agriculture. Look, I'm still learning. I didn't read Agric, so I'm still learning. I'm just passionate about what I do. And he said, I'm in Lagos. I'm in Ikorodu in Lagos. What do I do? I said, well, Lagos does not have that much of land. Ikorodu, I don't think there's that much of land in Ikorodu. So think about. And we will carry coke and biscuit through for the river, so that the mommy water no go get. I was watching the video. I was laughing. This guy said, Jesus power, super power. Then on top river, on top boat too. Jesus power. Let's get mommy water power. I said they never put coke bottle. They don't want to talk with you go make boat capsize. But is it where I'm going to, Francis, is governments, right? In a place like this, like when the guy came to me with the question from Lagos, I said fishery can work in Lagos. You have a lot of river. Poultry can work. Why? Because you don't have that much land, so you can use building, hydroponic, all these greenhouses. So in Lagos, a state like Lagos, and Lagos state government is doing with regards to agriculture. You can see what they're doing with their food banks and all of these things. So places like the Southwest, right? Governments, Agbatoke. What are we saying?
Before you even say the good part, like you mentioned, even if the place, Lagos is part of Nigeria. So why not Lagos partner with a state that have land?
No, they've done it. They've done it with Lake Rice in Kebbi, and they recently signed a memorandum of understanding with Niger State for rice production.
What we are bringing on board. There's actually a document to effect. Call it the Southwest Cocoa Fund.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're integrating it into the Agbatoke Food Fund. Yes. So it's actually targeted at southwestern states. So we are taking it to them. We're not waiting for the mountain to come and meet us now. We are taking whatever that we feel can solve the problem. Because just last year, cocoa price was maybe roughly 2,000 something. Then all of a sudden, skyrocketed into almost 10,000 plus now dollar per ton.
Sorry, when you use the word all of a sudden, I don't believe you. I'm going to allow you to continue. Okay. Exactly like all of a sudden. By population they grow, demand they. People want chop.
What I want to say out of that, but it's sudden to people who are not in the realm. Even it's shocking to us. No, even it's shocking to us. Yes, because if you're not you can imagine. And now this thing has increased a lot of thievery, a lot of this thing, even in the local communities, because people feel that when you just sell 1 kg of cocoa now, you make $10,500.
Your cocoa got a loss.
And then you understand?
I've seen it. Farmers have been attacked.
And government, I just know. I don't want to be blaming government all the time, but look, government, you just always blame. Okay, imagine that they had a vision 10 years ago. You have been shouting about these things. Let's even say we started 2022.
You know when I saw that
when we were doing the revolution.
Yes, so
let's even say some government took up planting cocoa.
Yes.
Or gave massive interest into cocoa. And what would have been the outcome now? So we are developing as part of our marketing strategy. There's a component of the Agbatoke Food Fund, which is known as the Southwest, the Cocoa Fund for is targeted at Southwest. We're taking it to them because the Southwest is known for cocoa. When Awolowo was there, Dami was alive. He used cocoa practically to build and develop the Southwest, and it can be replicated. The land is there, everything is there, and see, a lot of things can even be done from that cocoa alone itself, even if we are not exporting it. not to talk of export.
No, I
So
think
there's a lot of challenges. Brazil is trying to do something now when it comes to cocoa because of this spike. They are trying to take over the #1 spot from Cote d'Ivoire. They are doing a lot.
And with this,
but we now
with this Nigeria Southwest State Cocoa Fund,
yes,
in the next 10 years we could be
we could be #1.
Yes, many of them will learn from us.
Exactly.
Because see, I don't know why, like he said, like my brother have said, I don't know why we have always lagged behind. This country now when people don't the drum, now we
would say one drum.
We know that we are still very reluctant. Now, one thing with us is that we are very, very reluctant. We feel like I make I never start. This will never go further. Make a wait. But there's no time to wait. There's no time to wait for anybody. And that's why I was even wondering, these people when they fight Israel now, what's it called? Iran. These guys are getting enough food to even go they fly over 300 drones. Exactly. When they get even get up to 10 drones. On the lighter note,
we know.
Imagine say Ghana say they won't fight us now. We'll get drones to fight anybody.
No,
whenever I job finish,
who won't even fight?
I was even wondering how those guys have a lot of funds here and there for even their defense.
It's planning.
And you understand? See,
it's
to the point that nobody, I know yes, anybody did here with it's plan you get. But what we are saying is the moment we can solve the food problem, several of these funds where cocoa is being exported out and is bringing much, much impact to the country. Several of these funds can go into other sectors, but that's the reason why we are lagging behind. Because we don't look ahead. We don't look into the future.
I wrote an article to be precise. If you check, I wrote an article on the 14th of July 2023.
Wow!
And in that article, the title of the article, as Francis, you did the graphics. I said, as what President Swaju said, I assure all Nigerians that no one will be left behind in these strategic interventions. He made that statement, and then we noted it, and then we talked about. Then we were thinking about the first round of palliatives, and I wrote this article on the 13th of July, and the title was, you can check it on Twitter now.
Yes.
Let us okay, you can share it. Okay, it's on Twitter. Yes. Let us incentivize palliatives as we declare a national emergency on food security and not repeat past mistakes. That's what we're saying, and that's what the senator was saying. So let me tell you how governments can actually use Agbatoke to incentivize palliatives that makes the people more productive. I mean, let me break it down for you. And I'm going to use cocoa. Cocoa takes about 3 to 4 years now to be ready. 2-3 years is ready with these new varieties, and by the 4th year it's ready for production. Yes. So let us assume, for what is what, that's you were looking at about a ton of cocoa on very, very good hectare can give you a ton of to do with the best practices. So let us assume, and please pick your calculator, because this is what state governments must begin to understand. Now let us assume, for just record purposes, that the entire southwestern states, where cocoa can grow anywhere, decide to evolve a program. Cocoa can grow all the way to the south and the southeast, all over the Niger Delta. Cocoa grows. So let's assume they work out a system where they say, okay, we're going to plant 1 million hectares of cocoa. Also, no, sorry, that's too aggressive. 100,000 hectares of cocoa. As 100,000 hectares of cocoa, right? So they give themselves, they invest heavily, they incentivize cultivation. What do I mean by incentivizing cultivation? Say, look, we are going to invest in Agbatoke. Agbatoke will come and fund you and set up a cocoa project in the entire southwestern region. And that will cultivate 100,000 hectares of cocoa. Now, you come to the team and say, look, this Agbatoke, this team. Our job is not profit. No. Our job is create jobs for our people. Our job is create revenue for the state. Our job is build a viable alternative to the current money we get from crude oil. So they come, we sit down, and we say, look, we look at a design and say, look, sir, why don't you buy and hold? Yes. So on the average, it will cost about 2 million to cultivate, manage it for the next 3 to 4 years to get it ready. Security, planting, management, and all the rest. So 100,000 hectares by 2 million will give you how much? Cost wise. Please quickly run the figures for me. 100,000 hectares by 2 million is how much? 100,000 hectares by good. That's 200 billion, right? Now, so the states commit, because and this 200 billion, you're not going to spend it in a year. No. Yeah. So The first 1 year you may end up spending about 50 billion. So you raise through the government, state government investment, or the regional government investment here. We take that money, go into the market, and
the states can come together, collaborate.
Yes,
to raise
we are also marketing the cocoa fund as a component of Agbatokin to the world. Good. So we now go to the world and say, look, the state governments have done 10 billion.
Maybe let's say they have done like maybe 70%.
No. They will not be able to do 70% for a go. Let's say they do a quarter.
Yes.
You need 200 billion over 2 years.
Yes.
Over 3 years, right? 3 to 4 years. So let us assume the state government do a quarter of that. That is 50 billion. Yeah. So we say, okay, the whole of the southwestern states, or the southwestern states and the Niger, South Southern state. So you have about 10 states coming together to spend 50 billion in the first 1 or 2 years. First year of land clearance, seed, planting, management, right? And so 10 states are coming together to run that project, and 10 states are spending 5 billion in the first 1 year, isn't it? Now that's 50 billion. Now you take that 50 billion, you go to the market, you go to the blockchain industry, you go to the crypto world and say, look, I say, look, there's a cocoa project. You are holding, and you're the one telling me that the assets of Agbatokin, when we are fully taken, it's going to be at 600 trillion over the next 50 to 100 years. Okay, so we are not doing something that we are going to say. We are saying if we not chop them, like the typical Nigerian investment, we not chop them now. We don't want to do. No, our plan is that when we are gone, our children will take up the vision and then continue to be just like the way I want to do with regards to cocoa. And so we build that system where they bring the initial funding, and then Agbatokin takes care of the remaining 250 million billion. Okay, now after 3 years, within the 3 years, on 100,000 hectares, you create not less than 50,000 jobs.
Yes.
And full mechanization.
Yes.
Now, by the beginning of the 4th year, cocoa is currently, so let's use present value to sell the cocoa. By beginning of the 4th year, 4 years from now, this is 24. So by 2028, 2029, all these states will be generating an average of 1 ton per hectare for 100,000 hectares. 1 ton per hectare is currently almost $10,000. $10,000 times 100,000 is how much? Please give me the figure. Check, give me the figure.
$1 billion. $1 billion now is about 1.3 trillion now.
How much is that?
It's 1 billion.
Good. So you see, Mikey, you see where I feel that some of our governors are just very, very, I don't want to use some words on air.
1.3 trillion.
Good. So what we are saying,
by that time,
exactly what we are saying, and this is just one phase. This is just one phase of what cocoa can do. This is why you incentivize agricultural productivity. This is why you incentivize palliatives. Because if the states come together, you take holding. Even if it comes down, even if it comes down, and all of these states are making $500 million every year from their cocoa plantation. Investment that has been done this year to begin to generate. Meanwhile, guess what? That is one component. Now imagine you now build chocolate factories all around the south, west, and the Niger Delta.
Even if government is serious, I know that these states that you are talking about, their children, their citizens abroad can even fund 100 hectares per each state.
Yes.
If they see the sincerity of government in trying to achieve what they set out to achieve. But it's unfortunate. So, if you know you want shop, if you know see where you go shop, go do the project.
No, the thing there, that's why I love many of countries like this country, this South Korea also. Several of them even
those Asia power has Vietnam, Indonesia. Yes. That's exactly what Indonesia did with palm oil and Malaysia.
They just want to be productive. And even when some of the people in the government are taking out the funds, they are putting it into production, into productivity. For our own people, takes it outside. So what was the joy of you having maybe a house in Dubai that is worth over 200 million?
You're not even living in.
That you're not living inside though. Then for you to know that I invest that 200 million to even build a digital center that is empowering my people in the village. What is the joy? You going to sleep knowing that I get house where they there where they was the waste. But imagine saying you are hearing reports of the impact your digital center is doing to your own community. It is a joy. I don't know why how people. You see some of them, their heart is so hardened that they don't. It's actually they are not joyful when they see people being empowered. So all we are saying is this sounds. We're developing the document, and we are going to meet all the governors. We are going to put them in one room. We're going to make sure that they accept this. We put it into the blockchain, and people all over, apart from the initial fund that they are going to be bringing, which is like maybe around 50 billion. Other people are going to be part of the funding. Every other person are going to participate because this is our own, like we keep saying. If we not fund them, who go fund them? See, let me tell you something. See, if you name a child and you when name the child, no, they call the child name. Nobody else will call the name. Who are going to call your picking name when you don't call her the name?
Our government, people in government must also understand one thing that look, you owe nobody any apology for doing what you feel is right for your people. Forget about what US or whatever people will say. This is our country.
What will US? What will US even say?
You understand?
Like, please let's have a debate. Let's have a conversation. What will US even say?
I don't know because it's more like people are always scared of.
We don't know
what the world will say. I don't understand.
The part is we don't know the structure of our government. We don't know what because most governments.
Sorry, when you say you don't know the structure of our government, what do you mean?
No, what I mean is we don't know the relationship of our government with other countries. And like we said in the trading aspect, it could be that maybe they will say because we are doing cocoa there, so you guys don't need to.
No, let me give you a historical context.
Yes.
What you are saying now is correct. A lot of time the way the West approached us was actually very demonic and very destructive.
Yes.
The concept of comparative advantage was actually very flawed. That is David Ricardo and Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations. That's why people said nobody should read that book, Wealth of Nations, again. It's a very, very horrible, very horrible and useless book. You see, we must unlearn. Yes, we must unlearn a lot of this Western-driven economic thought. When somebody says, and then they discover Mungo Park. When our great grandpa they naked plan for that,
they plan for their life.
You don't understand?
When they pass through River Niger, they let's just name this country Nigeria.
Honestly,
so we
don't know say the country is. Now this is where I'm going to. You see, we must unlearn. Yeah. The impression they gave to the third world, which is why we became a raw material exporting continent, is that no, you don't need to process. You are good at producing raw material. Continue to produce this. We are good at processing. Let us process. So they buy raw material from Africa cheap.
Yes.
You understand? They buy raw material from us very, very cheap. And then you buy raw material from me cheap. And then what do you then do? You sell it very, very expensive.
After they process.
After you process it. You get the point now. So what needs to happen is that there needs to be a change in our approach. Like I always say, go and read a Powell. This Powell book is called it's in the bookshelf here. We call it Competitive Advantage of Nations. Powell, please. I don't know if anybody can get the book. Okay, please, it's not open now, right? So you can get it back. Competitive Advantage of Nations is there. Look for Powell, bring it. You see that book, Powell, is all about guys. Look at your competition and what you can get, Francis, from whatever you can produce. Exactly. So we just talked about the southwestern states and the south central states coming together and say we want to cultivate 100,000 hectares of cocoa, and then you begin to harvest in the next 5 years. Why would you want to sell it raw? Exactly. That's why for you. Why would I want to sell it raw? Exactly. I will start making chocolate. Then they will tell you our chocolate gets stone. We go chop the stone with the chocolate. Because what happens? Look, I always go back to the case of China. In the 70s and 80s, made in China was rejected all over the world. In 1957-58, the Toyota Pet, the cars were rejected in the US. The cars were rejected in the US. Today, Toyota is the largest car maker in the world. Why? Because the Japanese government did not abandon Toyota. That's the point. So, what needs to happen? What needs to change is you add value to whatever you are producing. So, for example, cocoa, we're talking about cocoa. You have 100,000 hectares of cocoa and you want to export raw cocoa. The only way you export raw cocoa is when, for what is what, the value what you are going to make from raw cocoa outweighs what you are going to make from chocolates. But that's not possible. Because if we are talking about $1 billion from cocoa every year, from the next 5 years, if governors are serious, if local governments are serious, if states are serious, we're talking about $1 billion every year for the next 5 years in the south, and the southwest corridor, right? Now, by the time you add chocolate, by the time over that 5 years period, what are you doing? You bring in more investment. Agbatokin will help you bring more investment. You are building factories. As you are bringing factories, you are adding value to what you are doing, and your $1 billion will automatically become $5 to $10 billion over the next 30 years. That, my people, that is how you use the resources of the state, you use the capacity of the people, you use the availability of technology to grow your people, make food available, create food security, social security, and ensure that Nigeria work. Francis, yeah. I mean,
even the what's it called? When you talk about infrastructure, when you said that Batoke was going to help people to actually start building their infrastructural needs in preparation for harvesting of cocoa, I want to even say that it's even going to be beyond the processing lines now. Logistics infrastructure. Yes. The rail lines can actually be built.
Yeah.
Because when you know that with rail you can move your cargoes from maybe Delta to Akure, maybe it's Akure that the center for processing is, or to the final port in Lagos. There won't be any option than to look inward to see how you can start building these things. And that is how you are going to, in the history that you used to talk about, the cotton history of America. That cotton history also led to some infrastructural development by the local people, by the farmers themselves. They don't have to wait for government. Government just come, do supervisory stuff, and then but the money, the chunk of the money with which this infrastructural were built came from the private sectors who were productive. So if we get our productivity right, using Agbado Evolution as a leverage, I mean Agbatoke as a leverage, there is a lot of possibilities. A lot of possibilities. And we can think about these possibilities because we are not in government. I'm not looking to contest election. I'm not looking to win any governor. If you like, vote for me. If you like, no, you don't concern me. So I can sit down and think about what will benefit the people. But as a governor, you have to protect your interest. And at most of the time, your interest may not align with the interest of the people, but your interest must supersede. So I think that is also part of the problem. I'm not thinking for them now.
While we are waiting for Mike to come in, I think he's going to get his book. Yeah, we have a whole library here, a whole library that focuses on. I call it a economic nationalism library. I call it a nationalistic library. I think people need to understand that when we say these things, whatever we say here, we are not saying it because we're against America, IMF, World Bank, or anybody. We are not. I always say anybody who is doing whatever they are doing for their country, I twirl for them. I always salute for them. Build your country, that's your business. Make your country work, that's your business. Our own is to make Nigeria work. You see, when you read Professor Hanju Chang, Bad Samaritan, and this is popular book, Kicking Away the Ladder. Please check, is it the one calling? Kicking Away the Ladder. When you read those books, you come to understand a lot about how nations grow. I follow Jeffrey Sachs a lot. You come to understand how these guys grow, how they build their society, how they build their economy, how they elevate the conversation around localization, and that is key. Yes, that is it. Oh yes, a completely strategy. That's the book. Okay, this is the book. Okay, correct. That's good. I was just talking about the Bad Samaritan now, so it's also a good thing that you brought it, Mike. Now you see, This is the book I'm talking about. Competitive Strategy by Michael E. Porter. Competitive Strategy by Michael E. Porter. This is the book.
That's my elder brother.
By Michael E. Porter. Competitive Strategy. You see, what this guy is talking about is techniques for analyzing industries and competitors. Not comparative advantage. Comparative advantage is if now maize is a big plant are plenty or where. No way. Porter is saying that no. If you can add value to that maize, add value.
Yes.
Because that is how you are going to be able to grow. Then you also have this book, Bad Samaritan, by Professor Haji Chang. It's a lovely book. He has 2 books. The second one is Kicking Away the Ladder. We call it Bad Samaritan. We have a full library here where we talk about economic nationalism, development finance. What is the best model for developing nations? So when we are talking about Agbatoke, what we are simply saying is that with Agbatoke, we are going to be looking at competitive strategies. Competitive strategies. And what is the competitive strategies? You have the land that can grow cocoa, grow the cocoa. Yes. We have a strategy where we can process the cocoa, develop a strategy to process the cocoa. Why? If you do all of this, you will create more than 200,000 jobs directly, and you create more than 1 million jobs over the next decade. Why don't you create 1 million jobs in the cocoa industry instead of just saying raw cocoa? And that's why I detest when banks talk about come for seminars, export raw material. They carry to the export raw material as well for this country.
We never even get to war exports.
Thank you.
War exports.
No, as you know, I shouldn't export crude oil now. So please,
even that one a big cost.
That is what Agbatoke is talking about. Agbatoke is all about the future is here.
Yes.
The future of agricultural financing is here. It's now. Now we are going to have this continuous conversation because the podcast is always about 2 hours.
Yes.
Because it's Sunday evening, people are praying for work.
Yes.
But you must have to focus on the message. And the message is smallholder farmers in Nigeria and all over the world needs funding. Funding can come by every means. Government must do a lot in area of subsidy. Government must do a lot with regards to intervention. The private sector must do a lot with regards to funding agriculture, but the private sector cannot do it alone.
Yes.
And that is why we are bringing in technology. Traditional technology has not worked for the farmers. They didn't work for our great-grandparents. They're not likely going to work for us. Because if you go to the bank now to get money for agriculture, they tell you to bring your ancestors' birth certificates. The ancestors of 1800, even death certificates. So what we are saying is, in closing, as we round up, what we are saying is, something has to change. The smallholder farmers in Nigeria and all over the world need the rub of the green. The blockchain technology, the cryptocurrency environment, the cryptocurrency world is a world that can help smallholders farmers get to the next level. Yes, and also Buhari used the next level for you, the election campaign. But we're talking about the farmers going to where? To the next level. The blockchain technology, Agbatoke, AGBT is going to pre-launch this April. You're going to pre-sale this April. And we're coming with about 0.25 cents, which is about 300 naira per token.
Yes.
Our expectation is before the end of June, there'll be $10 million on the table.
Yes.
Because see, we need to be able to show to this world, to this country, how it can be done from our practical experience, from NFGCS Farm in Gati, from Ahoza Technology, from Batcash. We need to be able to, because that's a representation of this thing.
And we need to stop talking.
And we need to stop talking. Yes, to start doing. Because Nigeria needs food. The world needs food. Gaza needs food. Africa needs food. Iran needs food. Israel wants food. Ukraine needs food. All of Russia, China, US, all of us. See, if you like, take away everything. But food is what we need to survive.
Yes.
And Agbatoke is bringing in technology, the blockchain technology, the cryptocurrency world, mixing it like we always do. If you see our logo, it is technology plus whole. And we are what? Connecting to give what? To give you something that can work. Please hand over the floor to you guys.
All right. I think we have exhausted. This is 2 hours now. Been streaming. So we have exhausted our time for today because normally we usually say 2 hours maximum. Why? Because we want you to have time to also meditate on what we have said and also drop your comments or chat us on WhatsApp like we always say, and also check out the websites. There's agbatoking.com or agbadovolution.com. Check the two websites, then you'll be able to give us feedback any way you feel you have something, an addition. If you have a way that we can even reach some of these southwest farmers, if you have a way to drag them, all of them, keep them in one place so they'll come and talk to them. Do it. Do what needs to be done. Like we said, it is time for us to. This country, we don't talk tire. Many of our people. That's why I hate manifesto. When anybody they become president or whatever, they will come and talk and talk and talk, and they will not do. So we need to stop talking and start doing. Let's do less talking and do more of doing. Okay. So action speaks louder than voice. They don't talk and tire. But we don't know why our people still like to be talk. So thank you so much
please, I think we should take
our comments. Yeah.
Yes, we can take comments. You can post your comments. We'll see them. We'll be able to put them. So we'll take them for the next 5 minutes.
Yes.
You can take a lot. Then we
part of us.
Can share your story with. We'll also share our last story with you.
Yes.
Before we go. So let me start from the top. We have this. This one is with the Agbatoking initiative, and with the vast land we have in Nigeria. I think Nigeria need to go. Nigeria need not to go to bed hungry because we have what it takes to feed the nation. Nigeria government need to partner with Resting Aid Tedeke and his team to invest in agriculture. Idris Yao Masani, thank you so much for this contribution.
Thank you, Idris.
Now we have another person, Dan Masani Yadakwari. Great work. He's saying great work, and we were telling you that you too, you do a great work by sharing and commenting.
Yes, and by even following up. Yes, great work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, another Yao.
Yes. So we have Onis Oluwashem Agbatoking is the future of farming. #Agbadovolution. Thank you for that hashtag. Thank you for that comment.
Yes.
So we have Ogun Jimmy Akin Ajani Akon say #Agbatoking #Agbadovolution has come to stay.
Yes, sir.
Watching live from Yenagua by yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much
for watching. We have somebody watching from UK right now. Many people are watching from all over the world. Now we said Agbatoking, like I have always noted, we can't wish Nigeria problems away. It is now urgent because any day wasted emboldens conflict entrepreneurs whose only business is cashing in with every crisis and creating new avenue for more conflict to satisfy their greed, corruption, and inhumanity. So he's saying he has been always following, and he know that we are wasting our time. People, the government is wasting time by not doing what is needed to be done, and problem cannot be wished away. Nobody will just, go get problem for like they wish and may just go. If you don't give a treatment, it will not go. So that's the solution. You have to bring a solution into a problem. You don't just wish it. It's not a magic. So she to FT Abiodun, thank you for this comment.
Thank you.
Now we also have another person, still Onis, skip some double comments. So this is great. We have Banis Shekina Glory Yusufu. Agbatoking stands sure. Thank you so much for that.
Dennis. Thank you.
We are very grateful. From Facebook, we have Olami Folorunsho. Wow, this is a large project that will turn around agriculture in Nigeria for good. And it's giving me I'm giving you bosa. So thank you so much for that comment, Olami Folorunsho. So we have the last comments for tonight.
Olayemi,
Anjolade, Okunade. Say #Agbatoking forward ever, #Agbadovolution backward never.
Okay, I think we still have some comments. Yes, on Batcat National Farmers Forum table page. Okay. It's heavily trending. I don't think Idishitu FT Abiodun blockchain technology beats traditional technology when it comes to funding.
Yes,
that's one of the things we talked about.
Yes.
Then Ogujimi Akin Ajani Akon said Agbatoking after Agbatoking.
Yes.
Okay, it's also it's the guy watching from Yenagua.
Yes.
Then Yaya Mohammed Yeshua said good one. I think you have taken the comment of Olavi, right?
Yes.
She to say, like I've always noted, we can't wish Nigeria problems away. Good. So I think you have Benis, stand sure. Idris, okay, I think you're taking most of the other ones. I think you're taking most of the ones. Then Otelaja, Olaiton, Ogiliboke the Bosa, right? With Masara. Yes, so we'll give them back to us.
So, like we said, this is our own, this is our message, this is our story. Yeah. So, what we really want from you, we have over 1,000 people watching right now, and what we want is keep sharing this message. It's on every platform. Keep sharing it. Let it reach the people it needs to reach. Like we keep saying, tag them if need be. And there is a need for you to tag them. There is a need for us to, we are the future of tomorrow. And the tomorrow is now. Is now. Because even me, I don't get old. It's now. Yeah. Don't do it now. I don't know when we're going to do it. Right. So process. So want to say thank you. My name is still Michael
Onimisi, the developer.
Yes, the developer of Agbatokin.
The primary developer, the lead developer of Agbatokin. And then the MDCU, the CTO of Agba Evolution Technologies, is also the MD of Ahoza Technologies.
Thank you everyone for joining us. The conversation is evolving, it's progressing. As much as you know, Agbatokin is a progressive initiative. It's something that is going to keep evolving. Yes. You know, farmers don't get tired. Our resilience has been tested over time, so we don't think we're going to. So just come with us. In short, thank you for joining us tonight. And as we look forward to another episode, I wish you all good night.
Francis Sayomi is the head of media for and marketing for Agbatokin and also for Agba Evolution Technologies. It's always lovely having you around. Your passion, your aggressive nature, your insight is invaluable to us. And I'm Retin Tedeke, as you are. Sometimes somebody's making a they call the name himself. I'm honored to be with you. And let me say this again. This program, this episode is going to continue. There's going to be part 2 of this episode by next week, Wednesday, where we are going to actually throw more light. Please prepare wherever you are all over the world. Listen, wherever you are all over the world, Agbatokin is developmental, it's progressive, and it's futuristic. Agbatokin is developmental because it focuses on how do we provide food for people all over the world. I'm starting from Nigeria and Nasarawa State. Because if we get food right, we get social stability right. We get social national security rights. So Agbatokin is something you need to hold. The unique thing about it is you can hold it with 300 naira. You can hold it with 300 million. You can hold it with $1 billion. Any amount. That's exactly the uniqueness of it. So the world is going to be a part of a fantastic blockchain concept of food security. Look, technology must get to a point where it becomes a component of human survivability and humanity and blessing of humanity. Technology must get there. That's what Agbatokin is trying to do. Agbatokin is trying to use technology for what? For the survival of humanity. Yes. Think about it. Technology for the survival of humanity. That's what Agbatokin is all about. And so, like Mike said, let us get going. Let us focus on what works. Let everyone prepare. The pre-sale is coming up soon, later this month. We are hoping to put at least about more than 1 billion coin, more than 1 billion token on pre-sale. And they are coming at about 0.25 cents for a start about 300 naira. And then once the smart contract is up, you see it. But all of those are going to be holding coin. What means therefore is that you cannot trade them immediately. You're going to hold them and become a builder of the global food security network powered by Agbatokin. You become a part as an early bird, as an early bird or a pre-sale holder. Yeah. You are going to be part of a global food security network whose job, whose intent is holding Agbatokin to provide food for millions of people all over the world who need food. That is what, you see, I always tell people, I say, look, in closing, heaven will not be defined by the church or the mosque you go. Heaven will be defined, if it exists, it will be defined by the work you do for humanity. It will be defined by the impact you create. It will be defined by the number of mouths you feed, by the works you have put in to ensure that humanity is blessed. NFGCS Farm Estate, Agbado Evolution Technologies Limited, Agbatokin AG Tech Limited, Ahoza Technologies. All of us here, our focus is simple. Put food on the table of humanity so that humanity can keep growing. And we're doing it with what? The secured environment. Climate change is a part of why we're doing it. Saving the environment is why we're doing it. I'm writing Tereke. Let the smallholder farmer breathe. Let me repeat. Let the smallholder farmers breathe. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I think what we'll do now, we'll just do one small exercise. Everybody, you are going to hold your breath.
Yes, sir.
For like 1 second.
Yes, sir.
And then just release it.
Are we ready?
Yes.
One,
2,
two.
Ready, go.
Let the smallholder farmers breathe. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for this episode, for being part of us. We're going to, like we always said, we have a story, but never tired of sharing our story. So as we close, listen to our story.
Agbatokin is here. Agbatokin, the future of agriculture. Somewhere in Africa, distant from civilization, in a small village of Gate, Nasarawa State, distant from basic amenities, no clean water, bad road, and no educational facilities. But a young Nigerian, passionate about agriculture, found himself in the middle of nowhere. Made something out of nothing. And now, the people of Gate can boast of classrooms for their children, good road, and clean water. Never underestimate the days of little beginning. Just like every great story, it all starts little. And today, Agbatokin has come to reveal the future and the impact of agriculture from an undeveloped community to a transformed estate and resorts. Go, share the word, share the truth. Agbatokin is here. Agbatokin, the future of agriculture.